Hi students, this is another lesson about deviance in society, and in your last lesson I actually kind of combined two topics into one lecture. Toward the end I went ahead and told you about how functionalists regard deviance in society. Remember, functionalism is an overarching theory that we can apply to information that we learn about and analyze it based on that particular lens, that society is a stable, orderly place, and all the social institutions and statuses and roles, socialization process, social groups, all of those things that we learn about in social structure, all those components work together and are tied together to keep society moving forward, stable and orderly. So that's the general premise behind functionalism, and many sociologists over time have used that as their preferred general premise. And one of them who studied deviance and gave us a lot to think about regarding deviance is Robert Merton. And you'll read about him in chapter 6. And actually, I'm going to ask you to do that, read about the way that your textbook describes what his structural strain theory is all about. He came up with structural strain theory when he applied the fundamentals of functionalism to deviance in society on a macro scale. So Robert Merton looked at all the social controls that are in place in society to try to keep people on the straight and narrow, yet social statistics show us that many people go toward a path of deviance anyway. And so Robert Merton was interested in whether there could be some macro scale social forces, macro scale because functionalism is macro scale, that could drive individuals on the micro scale to be deviant, even though that doesn't seem like it's logical, to the benefit of the individual or to the benefit of society. He wanted to know, is there something in society itself that can push us toward that? So when you look this up in chapter 6, you will see 5 different categories of people that Robert Merton identified based on his ideas having to do with social structure and the strain or stress or pressure that the norms and social facts that exist on the macro scale can have on you and me in our daily lives. This is tied into, or I am going to say that it's tied into the concept of the American dream. So the reason I'm presenting that to you like this is because I want you to see if you agree or disagree with me. And it's fine if you disagree. You never have to agree with anything that I say. As a matter of fact, just go in and make sure that you have the right facts from the textbook, the right information, and see whether you agree with the way he structured this theory, this proposition that people are pressured toward deviance in a lot of cases because of these norms on the macro scale in society. And he did not use the phrase American dream, but I'm going to suggest that that's what he was talking about. So the American dream is a concept that we have a specific sociological definition for. The sociological definition is, and you can slow me down on YouTube really quick right now if you want to write it down. You should write it down. We're going to be talking about it a lot after midterm. But the American dream is the idea that if you, as an individual, you work hard, you get an education, you play by the rules of society, that you should be able to have a happy, satisfying life. You should be able to enjoy some measure of success. You should be able to improve your condition from where you started toward the end of your life. That's the sociological definition of the American dream. Now, Robert Merton looked at macro scale norms of society and it said, how do we measure success? Success is part of this idea on the American dream, right? So how do we measure success? And he noticed that we tend to measure success with money. Now, if you ask people about the American dream, I think I've mentioned this to you before, you'll get a lot of different personal answers to it. Not many people go around with the sociological definition memorized. But a lot of times, females in particular, because of that caregiver master status that is taught to us and ingrained in us during our socialization process, a lot of times females will say, I just want a happy, healthy family. But then you have to ask them, well, does that cost money or is that free? You know, do you get to pass go and collect $200 all the time, or is it constantly costing you money? Those critters, children, are expensive, right? And so to keep them happy and healthy, it takes money. So money and the semblance of success that money says about us, symbolizes as us. Go back to chapter 4 and read the section on status symbols. So part of the social structure is your status, and the three statuses that are combined to form our socioeconomic position within society that we will look at in depth in chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, those three statuses are achieved statuses of income level, occupation attainment, and educational level. So income, occupation, education. These things combined are really part of the macro scale social norms that motivate us to be in college right now, for instance. And so Robert Merton said that if the norms of society are success and we measure that with money, there is a socially approved of way to achieve that, which is hard work, education, lifting yourself up by your bootstraps, doing it yourself, personal responsibility. That's the value system of the United States, the original value system of the United States. And so Robert Merton said, if you buy into the idea that you need to be self-sufficient, you need to work hard, you need to get the educational level, and you need to be frugal with your money, and you need to invest, and you need to enjoy some kind of success spread out over time. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but some measure of success spread out over time, that you are a conformist. If you agree to the hard work, if you agree to the education, which is hard work too, right? Can I get an amen? And you agree to the income level is one of your goals that you are trying to achieve in life, increased income level, increased promotion potential, those kinds of things, then you are a conformist. However, Robert Merton said that income and success are so important in our society on the macro scale that sometimes individuals or entire collections of individuals across our population are motivated to try to find a shortcut to get to that success, or they reject it entirely to try to find a different niche that they fit into in society and find like a different way. And so if you hear me say different, well, this is where the deviance part comes in. It's how we respond to those macro scale norms and pressures associated with this concept of the American dream, success. Success measured in money, your income, your occupation level, your education level. So, Robert Merton, and you can read about this precise definition of these in the text, but Robert Merton said that there are 4 types of individuals in society based on his connection, his macro scale connection of these American dream norms and the pressure that's put on us to succeed toward the American dream, that there are 4 categories of people that exist across the population. Innovators, ritualists, retreatists, and rebels. So innovators essentially are deviant. All 4 of these are deviant because of the connection back to the response back to those American dream pressures. So if you're an innovator, Robert Merton said you love the idea of success, you love that idea of status symbols, you love that idea of bling, you love that idea of luxury. However, you don't want to wait until you're old and gray like Mrs. T. You want to have it in your 20s. You want to have it soon. You want to have it an easy way. Maybe that scratch off will pay off for you, but an innovator finds a different way to achieve that success. Maybe their credit cards are maxed out. Maybe they really can't afford that BMW and they're paying 16% interest because their credit's bad, because they also have to have this, that, or the other status symbol to communicate to the outside world that they have arrived. Look at my air quotes there. So innovators find a different way to achieve at least the appearance of success and attainment of cultural goals. And sometimes use status symbols to do that. Maybe they go into a life of crime. Maybe they sell oxycodones on the sidewalk for $45 a pop or something to try to get that income that they can use to show they've arrived, but they didn't do it the way society approves of. So deviance is not doing it the way society approves of, and that's an innovator. A ritualist is somebody who does the flip side. They say, you know what? I don't care about the money. I'm going to do this for the public service. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a public servant. I'm going to teach kindergarten, and I don't care that I'm not going to be paid a whole lot. I'm going to be a police officer, and I'm willing to put my life on the line every single day. I'm going to be a firefighter, and I am willing to pay the ultimate price in order to provide this particular service to my community, to humanity in general. So ritualists are the flip side. They kind of redesign what their relationship is to the American dream, and they get some sort of satisfaction from the idea that they are going to find find glory or something instead of find economic wealth, economic status. Okay. Glory is not really the right word there, but you are altruistic or you're charitable to others instead of thinking of yourself first. So a retreatist and a rebel, these are deviant also, according to Robert Merton, because a retreatist just kind of backs off all of the ideas of the American dream. They don't care about status symbols. They don't care about cars. They don't need unlimited data or the newest iPhone. They don't respond to that at all. Perhaps a retreatist is comfortable with just, an SSI payment, or they are homeless in general and they live off the charity of others. Or a retreatist is somebody who participates in our society, lives with and off us, but doesn't really want to participate in the hard work, education, and income attainment pressures that the rest of us buy into. A rebel does what a retreatist does, except they don't participate in overall society at all. They back off completely and kind of redesign what they think the overall goals should be. Like the normal society has it all wrong. Normal in air quotes, right? Normal society has it all wrong. The rebel redefines everything and says there are other goals in life. Money and success are not the goals that I'm put on this earth for. There's another goal. So I'm thinking of a cult that was exposed in Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma about 15 years ago. They were, I don't remember the name of the cult, but the men in the cult, they were a polygamist group, which meant that they had multiple spouses. In this case, the men had multiple wives, and they would marry the wives as soon as the women began their menstrual cycles, because their ultimate goal in life was not this success and money like the idea of the American dream. They had a redefined goal in life to populate the afterlife. So they needed to have as many babies in this world as they possibly could, which meant they needed to have as many wives as they could afford and as many children as they possibly could over the entire reproductive life of that wife in order to populate the afterlife. And so this was their goal and the way that they were going to achieve their goal. And this does not fit into the, here's my air quotes again, normal U.S. society, right? No, normal U.S. goals or approved of behaviors associated with achieving that goal. So a rebel completely rejects the society and the social norms and the social facts that exist in the society where that group is, and they redefine everything and kind of make a little microclimate of their own within a larger society. So, tell me what you think. Look at structural strain, like the explanation of what he saw in the structure of society and how people react to it. And tell me what you think about the American Dream idea. It can be part of your reaction paper this week, or you can use all of it, to really examine this thoroughly and review it for me to read about. Text me with questions. Bye.